So in this video, I'll be sharing with you guys 5 things I no longer spend my money on as an accountant, and other things I spend that money on instead. So the first on my list is I no longer buy things that I need to keep on spending money and money and money and money and more money on to maintain that one item. An example of this is a white couch, a white sofa. You guys know there's a trend right now on aesthetic living where everyone wants everything all white. Most people, if you see their living rooms, their houses, everything is literally all one color: beige, white, tan. Like there's literally no color, and I'm just like, how do you maintain that? I actually fell into that trap, and I also got like white sofas as well, and I'll tell you guys for free, that thing is not easy to maintain, and it is not cheap to maintain a white sofa. Okay, there will be stains, there will be food spills, there will be just being a human being living, and just using that item is going to keep on staying in a week. It's going to cost you money to clean it, get professional cleaners inside to clean it, or if you want to clean it yourself, it's also still going to cost you money in terms of cleaning products. So yes, that's one thing that I regret buying, because I just kept spending money on maintaining my white sofas and cleaning it and keeping it brand new and keeping it looking good and keeping it looking clean. Meanwhile, if I had just bought like a colored sofa, like let's say black, gray, brown, I wouldn't spend as much cleaning it, or as much time trying to keep it looking clean. So that's one thing I actually no longer spend money on. Anything that I actually have to spend on that would then require me to keep on spending to maintain it, we don't spend money on that no more. This is just one example out of many. There are many things that we as human beings buy that would need many maintenance, and that's something we shouldn't be doing in 2024. Okay, so another thing I no longer spend money on are clothes. You guys, when I was literally in uni, you could not tell me not to buy new clothes like every single week, because I will buy new clothes. I don't know why. Maybe I thought like I was a fashionista in my head, or I thought I was like some celebrity or something. I literally did not know what it was, but I spent so much on clothes, it was ridiculous. Yeah, this actually kind of reminds me of Maslow's law of hierarchy, where basically like the triangle, the pyramid, where your first need is basically food, water, shelter, and then after that you're then looking for like things like job security. Then after that you're then looking at things like self-esteem. Am I right? Self-esteem, social skills like having friends and things like that. And that makes sense. Obviously when I was young, I had zero problems, like zero problems. Pass. Obviously food was not a problem, job security was not a problem, shelter was not a problem. So like my needs, what I felt like were my needs then, were things that are basically frivolous, which is spending on clothes and just spending on things that are unnecessary. But at this stage of my life now, I'm not saying that food is a problem, but it's just like with the rising cost of things right now, you have to then think more practically to spend. I believe that following Maslow's law of hierarchy definitely applies to your life. So look at the pyramid. I'm going to put this on the screen. Look at the pyramid, see where you fall on that pyramid at that point in your life, and I think that would actually help you to adjust your spending accordingly. Okay, even if you don't want to adjust your spending accordingly, guys, literally just set aside that cash you feel like you want to spend on useless things and invest it. Okay, you guys, it literally made no sense. Like all my allowance in uni was literally going on clothes and more clothes, and these were all fast fashion. It's not like I was even buying clothes that would last me like years, or clothes that would not require me to like replace them after a while. I was just buying clothes because it looks fashionable. I'll buy this style, I'll buy that style, I'll buy this, I'll buy that, and that just literally does not make any sense to me now. If I want to buy something, or there's something I know like I'm really going to get a lot of use out of, I'd rather buy quality that would last me years. So right now I'm more a believer in buying just a few key pieces that I would get more wear out of, as opposed to just buying literally everything that is in fashion, or rather fast fashion. I think that's what I'm referring to, fast fashion. Yes, that is something we do not do anymore. Okay, so right now I try not to buy things that are in fashion. Even I buy things that are sort of like timeless pieces, things that I can wear all year round, all season round. Like I don't necessarily have to be like the most fashionable, because who's looking at me? Where are we going with that? Okay, like right now I'm thinking more practically and more sensibly, I would say. So another thing that I no longer spend my money on is cheap items. Yes, cheap items. I'll explain this a bit more. So when I bought my first ever tripod, you guys, I literally went for the cheapest. I went for like literally the cheapest tripod I saw. I was just like, a tripod is a tripod. Anyone I buy is going to do the same job. But you guys, I was actually wrong. I literally went for the cheapest, and this tripod literally broke apart. Imagine like a tripod. I hadn't seen a tripod before I actually bought my first one, and I thought a tripod was actually made of metal, but it turns out tripods break. Okay, my first tripod broke, and I had to literally tie up with like a string. Yes, I had to tie up with like a string in order for me to be able to film with it. This did not last me long at all. I was actually upset about it because, you know, at the time I didn't really have a lot of you know, spare cash to throw on like filming gadgets or tripods and things like that. Guys, this was many years ago. I was actually using that tripod for like a business thing, so it wasn't actually for like YouTube and stuff. But yeah, within like a few weeks, I'm not sure if that tripod lasted up to months, but like within a few weeks, the tripod broke. And like I said, I was upset. And then I had to then go and rebuy another tripod. And then this time, I actually made up my mind that I was going to walk into a physical store and then buy the most durable one they had. And that was what I did. So this time I walked into a camera store and I bought like a really strong set of, a really strong tripod. And you guys, that tripod literally is been with me for years. Like even till today, I still have that tripod, and I honestly regret buying like the cheaper one because I thought, oh, tripod is tripod. But no, actually spending a little bit more on what you know you're going to use for years to get a more durable one is actually smarter. Okay, so I no longer spend my money on cheap things. If it's something that I know genuinely that I definitely need and I'm going to need for a lot of years to come, I would most definitely spend a little bit more to get more quality items. Okay, so buy it nice or buy it twice. That's where I learned my lesson, guys. So I hope you also pick up in this lesson that I learned on when I was much younger. So another thing I no longer spend on is, so I used to have this mentality where, you know, so I have businesses. Okay, so when I do better like on certain months and I make more than I would usually make, I would have this sense of, oh, because I made more, I feel like I can actually, you know, splurge a bit this month or spend a bit more this month. And the problem with that thinking was a lot of the time the things I actually splurged on were things that I did not even need. There were things I just felt like, oh, this is nice, and then I'll just get it. Oh, this is nice, and then I'll just get it. It wasn't really like things that I needed from me. So, but things like once I feel like I've made more on certain months, those kind of spendings are usually impulsive for me. This is just me being honest. That's just the way I am. Those things are usually like impulsive spending, like not things that I've thought about for a long time. Oh, I actually need to buy this book. Okay, I need to set out this amount to get this book. No. I don't think rationally. Okay, once I'm splurging, like I would actually convince myself on the reason why I actually need to splurge on that item. Like it was actually that bad. So what I do now, you guys, is any month or anytime I feel like I've actually made more money than I usually would make, I would actually just list out the things that I actually need. So that way I would tend to spend on those things that I need more, as opposed to like just impulsively spending. Okay, I would actually write out a physical list or write out a list on my phone of the things that I actually need to spend money on that period. So that way I actually those things are in my line of sight, or I'm thinking about them consciously and I'm spending money on those things as opposed to impulsively spending. This is just the way I am. You may not be that way, but it's the problem that I actually had, and luckily I've actually been able to overcome that by doing this. Okay, so it's just like when they say what gets measured gets improved upon. So just basically if there are areas that you're measuring, you're going to be able to then see discrepancies or see differences in that area and then be able to improve upon them. Yes, it's just, I think similar policy applies here, or similar thinking applies here. You know, once I'm consciously thinking of the things I actually need to spend on, or I have it in my face, like literally in my face, I'm going to be thinking more of spending on those things as opposed to like impulsively spending. Does that make sense? But yes, we no longer impulsive spend over here. And the last thing I no longer spend on is basically expensive, or rather unnecessarily expensive gadgets. Yes. So I was one of those people that always believed I had to have the best. I have to buy the most expensive. I have to buy like the most amazing, the most this and the most that. But I actually realized that when I started some of my businesses, that I did not have to have like some of the best gadgets to be able to achieve what I wanted. Yes, that's just the truth. So I would always have like Apple device, all these things, and I realized I was not using like the full potential of those items. That's not to say they're not good, no, but I was just not using them to like the best. I mean, like all maybe people that are into tech or something, I feel, or maybe people that are into tech or maybe gaming might be able to make better use of those items. I don't know, but I just felt like personally I wasn't making the best use of them. So when I was then purchasing things for my business, I would simply go for what I needed. So for my business, I realized what I needed was literally phones that could make a phone call. I didn't need to have the best or latest Apple iPhone, because I wasn't taking pictures with my phone, like product pictures. So I didn't really need like the best camera, okay? But like me before would be thinking, oh, I need to buy like the best iPhone for my business. No, I actually downgraded and went for a cheaper phone, just things like that. So I no longer buy like the best. I simply buy what is suitable for what I need it for. So obviously, if you're going to be using your phone for like maybe starting a YouTube channel, for instance, or maybe social media content creation, things like that, perhaps you should look at getting like the latest iPhone or the latest Samsung phone or things like that, because they apparently have really good cameras. But if you're not doing things like that, then you should not be sucked into the hype of getting like the latest gadgets, because you necessarily don't need that, and then obviously you're going to be paying off that debt, especially if you can buy it outright. So that's another thing that I no longer spend on. I simply spend on what I need. So because of that, if you see like the phones I use for my business, like literally the most basic of phones ever. Or alternatively, you could actually look at getting like gadgets, things like phones, maybe speakers, cameras. A lot of gadgets like that actually cost quite a bit, so you can actually look at getting them, getting used ones. A lot of times used ones actually last quite a bit. My first ever camera that I bought for content creation, you guys, that camera lasted for years. I mean years. The camera was so amazing. It literally did everything a new camera would still do, okay, and more. So this is the reason why I tell you guys, like, certain things you don't actually need to go for new, you can actually go for used. So always just pretty much look at areas where you can cut down on expensive things or on expenses, so that that excess cash or excess money can actually go towards things that would fetch you more money, towards investment or towards more important needs in your life and things like that. So those are 5 areas. I believe there were 5, or were they 6? I'm not sure, but yes, I believe there were 5. So those are 5 areas that I do not, or 5 things rather, that I do not spend money on anymore, or I've cut down spending on, especially as an accountant, because now before I make any spending, I think more rationally. I'm always thinking, okay, but this one could have actually done this for me, or but you could have actually bought this for me, or but you could have actually gone towards that for me. Okay, I'm thinking more I'm thinking more rationally now with my money than I was before. So, and I hope these are things that you put into consideration in your lifestyle or in the way that you live, so that your money or your finances can actually go a longer way for you. So if you found any of this interesting, please leave your thoughts in the comment section down below, and also share with us in the comments the things that you no longer spend your money on, and if your life is better for it. So that's all I have for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.